What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Hope everybody been having a good week thus far. Now, I've been wanting to do this video for about a couple of days, but I wanted to take my time to really think about this. Now, basically in the light of what happened on Monday, Pete Rose also passed away at the age of 83. Sadly, on the same day that Dikembe Mutombo died. So, rest in peace to both men. But I wanted to particularly talk about the fact that baseball, still to this day, never ever reinstated the man back into baseball. Never did. Even despite the fact that he showed contrite, that he basically shown the ability to, change and learn from what he did years ago. And again, I want to make this clear off the bat. I am not excusing, his behavior and the stuff that he's done. My point is that Pete Rose, for so many years, has been a pariah in baseball. Pretty much he's been a pariah ever since the day that he got banned in the late 80s for basically gambling on baseball games. And it's always been one of the biggest contentious, topics when it comes to the Baseball Hall of Fame about, should he be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Well, I'm telling you right now that baseball for generations has been a hypocritical sport, and they continue to do so. In light of all the things that we've seen over the past few decades, when it comes to, let's say integration to baseball, you know what I mean? When it comes to, basically to try to introduce a salary cap in baseball, which basically was one of the main reasons why the 94-95 baseball strike pretty much, derailed baseball for so many years. The steroid era, everything else you can name. But the thing that really irritated me when it comes to Pete Rose is that you allowed other names that with worse controversies around them, they were able to get in. Guys like, let's say, Ty Cobb. Guys like, let's say Bud Selig. Bud Selig, who was basically an owner for the Milwaukee Brewers, and then basically was the commissioner of baseball in the time where you could say he was one of the ringleaders that started the 94-95 players strike. Now, a lot of the beginnings was not entirely his fault. Basically, he was a mediator for the owners, but at the same time, he basically overseen all of that. And more importantly, you also oversaw the entire time when baseball players were basically juicing themselves to the gills and hitting home runs left and right. You and the rest of them owners benefited from it. And now you're trying to ostracize those players that helped save baseball in 98. Really. And then let's go again. Barry Bonds, who I've talked about, and I'm sure most of the community has talked about it numerous times. The all-time leader in home runs. Okay? All-time leader in slugging percentage and career walks. He's not in the Hall of Fame. And the only thing that he got guilty of was perjury. Basically lying to federal investigators when it came to the whole Balco investigation. But yet, you don't put this man in the Hall of Fame. You allowed Ty Cobb to get into the Hall of Fame. You allowed Mike Piazza in the Hall of Fame. Ivan Rodriguez, Jeff Bagwell. The list goes on and on. For the amount of names that you allowed into the Hall of Fame. Shady names at that. Yet, what really put it over the top for me is that when Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds had a chance to get into the Hall of Fame on their 10th and final attempt into the Hall of Fame by the Baseball Writers Association of America, they wouldn't put those two guys in. Yet, at the same time, you let David Ortiz in. And that's when I said, the hell with the Baseball Hall of Fame. You guys are hypocrites. But let me get back to Pete Rose here. The big issue with Pete Rose is that his inability to confess to the fact that he had a gambling problem. All right. Now, yes. Did he have a gambling problem? Absolutely. Has he had a lot of, issues outside of baseball? You're damn right he did. He was not perfect. Absolutely not. Not by no stretch. But what he did on the baseball field cannot be touched. All right. The man was one of the greatest all-around baseball players that you could ever see. The man still owns records in career hits, singles, games played, and almost 14,000 career at-bats. Like, the guy is pretty much a legend in of itself, and he won 3 World Series titles. The guy was literally a phenomenal baseball player. Yet, when it comes to putting him in the Hall of Fame, a lot of the writers won't be able to touch it. And for baseball to continuously play around with his reinstatement is beyond ridiculous. How is it that you allowed this man to stay banned all these years, yet at the same time, the players from the Houston Astros basically got immunity when they had to cooperate during the whole, stealing signs scandal? And yet AJ Finch, who was the manager of that team that was involved in the scandal, right? Who was involved in the scandal, he was able to be reinstated back into baseball. And all the other coaches and all the other players that were involved in the stealing signs scandal. Yet they were able to stay reinstated, right? Yet you won't let Pete Rose get in. See, this is when I pretty much had enough with baseball. And I have not watched baseball in a long period of time, over like 6 years. And at this point, I don't even care about baseball anymore, because baseball has become a hypocritical sport. It's become a disgrace. And more importantly, the people that are running the sport are just running it to the freaking ground, to the point where now baseball has become much more irrelevant with each passing day. Yet, when it comes to Pete Rose, and when it comes to his issue of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, the problem that I've always had with this, and I actually researched this before doing this video. The bottom line with baseball and what they've done is that, yet you want to ban this man from the Hall of Fame. Yet, there are still artifacts, there's still pictures, there's still symbol stuff that he's used throughout his career, like his baseball bat, his helmet, career pictures, jerseys. Listen, they're still in the Baseball Hall of Fame Museum in Cooperstown. Yet, you won't put the man in the Hall of Fame. Really. See, I just cannot stand the fact that these writers and the people that have ran baseball for all these generations can be so dang hypocritical. And yet, you won't put this man in the Hall of Fame, but you let all the other players that I named, like the David Ortizes, the Bo Seligs, Ty Cobb, all these other names that I can think of, like the Jeff Bagwells and all that other people, you let them in, right? Yet, you won't. And also, one more thing, I just remember now, Roberto Alomar. Go look up what Roberto Alomar did, especially when it comes to his allegations, when it comes to sexual misconduct, right? Go read up that information. I'm not going to say it on here. Yet, he's still able to stay in the Hall of Fame, right? His jersey is retired by the, I think it was by the Baltimore Orioles, I believe. No, San Diego Padres. But yet, this man, Roberto Alomar, is still able to stay into the Baseball Hall of Fame, right? Absolutely ridiculous. There is no way you can tell me. And actually I made a mistake. His number was never retired, thankfully. But my point is, Roberto Alomar, he's still in the Hall of Fame, despite all of his grimy stuff that he's done, right? But Pete Rose can't get in? No, man. There's no way you can tell me that Pete Rose does not deserve to get in. You can't tell me otherwise. So at the end of the day, R.I.P. to Pete Rose. He was one of the great baseball players of his generation, and at least he was on the All-Century team in 1999. Yet, was he not perfect? Absolutely not. He had a gambling problem and all sorts of other problems too that he could not help himself with. But it should not take away what he did on the baseball field. And the fact that the people who ran baseball for so many years refused to reinstate the man back into baseball, and the writers themselves refuse to even touch this subject, despite the fact that they still have artifacts in their museum currently right now, yet you won't put this man in the Hall of Fame. That's all you need to know how stupid and how just thoughtless baseball is. So that's all I had to say. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.